have. And I've seen other viewers like Action Kid, who does these walking videos and live streams, complaining about his views being down. And this is around and around and around. I have an observation on this, and I think that when there was no YouTube and no Instagram, I made more money because YouTube was the only game in town. And well, not the only game, the only big game in town, because I started off with a Blip TV, and Blip TV, that was in 2005. YouTube was the more popular version, but the codec for the the way a video looks, its resolution was much better on Blip TV. YouTube actually adopted the same codec, H.264, in 2006, and right. Um, Other than that, and Twitter's occasional foray into Vine, and then of course there are other smaller video production sites like Vidoko, which I was on the advisory board. But today you have big player against big player. You got Instagram, which has really increased in popularity, and then they have their own money making system. Uh, you've got TikTok, which it seems like is being advertised more heavily than YouTube, and YouTube is really focused more on, well, being the next Netflix and the next standard television, because now you can watch NFL games on it. But then what about people like myself who are YouTube partners able to make money? And I know there are people who claim to make a lot of money, but I wonder, I wonder, because I wonder. I think TikTok is drawing viewers, even, and it's a bad thing because look, you can't make as much money on TikTok as YouTube, and the reason is simple. TikTok does not share its ad revenue with its viewers. It doesn't have a partnership program like YouTube has. You have to get sponsors, and that's a tough haul. Then there's this whole viewership thing. Twitter and really started this, and TikTok adopted it. It's a kind of view count that starts right when you watch the video. It counts essentially an impression. In order to control how much it's paying out, YouTube has really tightened the reins, and you have to watch. Like for example, if I start a video, I have noticed that I have to start talking, and I don't get a viewer until like 3 or 4 minutes after. I'm serious. After I've started talking, it should be immediate. That's a little dial-in that YouTube does, which I think is completely wrong. And I think also they have an algorithm that is not, how do I say it, not friendly to people who are older. And I think they have an algorithm that says, okay, Zenny, you're 63, and therefore you shouldn't be getting as many views as somebody half your age. I really believe that's what's going on here. And then they could say, see, if you're younger, you're doing all this other stuff, and they can actually promote people who are younger, because they can then say, oh, look at those numbers there. Prove me wrong. I want somebody at YouTube to tell me that they're not doing that, because to me, it looks like they are. What do you have to do to combat the whole thing? You just got to make videos. You can't say, oh, this is not working for me, and therefore I give up. And in my case, the algorithm says, well, you actually made fewer videos. So I know I'm about, I would say, 30 videos behind where I should be over a 28-day period. Okay. So I got to make up for that. And I used to make as many as, I remember CES in Las Vegas, I made 120 videos in one day. One day. Yeah, 30-second videos, of what? Different products, different people who were at the great event that CES in Las Vegas is, promoting their new innovations and hoping to get the Innovation Award. So, hey, see, now I've got now 2 viewers after 5 minutes. This happens all the time. It starts like, doo, 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 and then it goes, geek, okay? But I have to talk after 5 minutes. And then if it gets to 20 minutes, whoa, okay? Then it starts to pick up. That's wrong. As far as I'm concerned, that's wrong. All right. I just want to make this point. I'm also watching Michigan, excuse me, not Michigan, Ohio State ahead of Rutgers 14-3. Ohio State has the ball, and I'm making the bet that Ohio State doesn't get a 30-point margin ahead of Rutgers. It's a 30-point game, but right now it's only 14 Ohio State versus 3 Rutgers, and Rutgers is fighting to be bowl eligible. If they win this game, they're 6-6. They're bowl eligible. Ohio State's 10-0. All right, but does Ohio State want to lose to Rutgers? It could happen. It could happen. All right, but what are your thoughts on this? Write them in the comments, and also note, take time if you're a YouTuber to note when viewers start on a particular subject. Ooh, Rutgers just stopped Ohio State for a loss on second down. Ooh, could happen. All right, I'll see you.